Hello everyone and welcome back to another screencast on circles, and this one is using arc length. So in our previous screencast you should have covered how to find the arc length, and now we're just working on how to use that. So first things first, obviously we need to go over what circumference is. Remember that circumference is the distance around the outside of the shape. I use this picture because it's like walking around the edge of the boundary. And in today's screencast, we're going to be thinking about how to use that arc length that we learned how to find in our last video and look for maybe the perimeter of a shape. We're going to need to use a calculator. It's very important that we know how to use our calculator well, so make sure you've got that with you. So in the last video, we worked out the length from basically this point here through to this point here and going around this one. But actually now our question's changed. We're looking for the perimeter of the shape. So let's go through the process of finding out that arc length again. We're using the formula of circumference equals pi times the diameter. Remembering that the diameter is double the radius. So this is the radius here. It's double that. That's where we get our 12 from. So we end up with C equals 12 pi. Okay, so the circumference of the whole shape is 12 pi. Now, we leave it as 12 pi because it really helps us to go through. But we're only having half of a circle, aren't we? Because 12 pi would be the full distance round a full circle, and we only want to have half of that. So remember what we did? We used the degrees that we have here. So this is 180 degrees out of 360. And we times it by that, and we ended up with 6 pi. Now, that equaled 18.85 to 2 decimal places, but we're not going to use that to find out the perimeter, remembering that that figure there only gives us that distance. We also need to add this distance. So very simply, we're going to take our 6 pi and we're going to add 12 to it, because the distance from here to here is 12 centimeters, because that's our diameter. If we put that into our calculator, remembering to use the 6 shift pi button, let's go through that 6, then shift and then pi button, we'll get this on our calculator, and then we're going to plus 12 and then press equals. And that will give us 30.849 or 30.85 as our answer to 2 decimal places. So that is what we do, and we're going to do the same thing this time. So I'm going to do one more, and then it's up to you to do the rest and see if you've got them right. So let's find out that arc length, okay, from here to here. And the way that we do that is we find out the full circle distance, don't we? Yeah. That full circle distance is what we're going to find now when we use this formula here. So let's put it in. We've got circumference equals pi times 12. Now it's 12 because this is the radius, remember? Double the radius gives us our diameter. So circumference equals 12 pi. But remember, that is the full circle's circumference. So we only want to have 90 degrees out of 360. So we take our 12 pi and we times it by our 90 degrees over our 360, which is a quarter. That gets scaled down to a quarter, doesn't it? We leave it as that. We put all that into our calculator. So remember, we're going to go 12 shift pi, right, timesing by 90, and then we're going to go use that bracket button, 360, and then equals. And that's going to give us 3 pi, and that equals as a whole number in decimal, we've got 9.424777, and so forth and so on. We're not going to use this figure. We're going to keep it as 3 pi, So we're going to go 3 pi, because 3 pi is the distance from here to here. We need to also add those two distances. So it'll be 6 plus another 6. This is 6. Remember, this is the radius. Then this is going to be the radius as well. So plus 6. We put all of that into our calculator, and that pumps out an answer of 21.424 or 21.42 to 2 decimal places. So that's how you do it. Make sure that you pause the video now, you do those 2 really good examples, because next up it's all about you doing the same thing. So remember, the numbers may change, but the process stays the same. Here we go. Next one's for you guys and girls to do. Pause the video now, give it a go on your own, come back and see if you've got it correct. So like before, we're going to find that arc length. We're going to use circumference equals pi times, and on this occasion, the diameter is 30. So our answer is going to be circumference of the full circle would be 30 pi. We don't have a full circle. We've only got a portion of it. We've got 120 over 360. That's the portion of the circle that we have. So we're going to take our 30 pi and we're going to times it by 120 over 360. That's going to give us the arc length from here to here, doesn't it? From this point all the way across to this point. That then ends up being 10 pi. Remember, as a whole number, we got this out as 31.4159, so forth and so on. But we're going to use that 10 pi. Okay, so 10 pi plus 15, which is from here to here, and then 15 from here to here, and that's the second 15. And that gives us 61.415 or 61.42 as 2 decimal places. All right, everyone, hopefully you did well on that one. Give this next one a go. I believe this is the last one before we move into the quiz, so make sure you do a good job, please. Okie dokie, everyone. So we've got the old circumference equals pi times the diameter. The diameter on this one is going to be 120, which is double the radius. That gives us 120 pi. And we're going to find a portion of that. Remember, that figure there is the full circle. We're going to find 235 over 360. Right? That gives us our fraction. We're going to use that to times it by. That's going to give us this. And this is really important. It's 235 divided by 3 or over 3 pi. We're going to use that, and we're going to add in our 60 and our 60, and that will give us our answer, which is, there you go. Put all of that into our calculator, and it gives us 366.091 or 366.1 to 2 decimal places. Okay, everyone, it is time for the quiz. Every morning when you wake up, you look forward to the quiz. I know you do. So we're looking to find the perimeter of these shapes. Pause the video, give it a go, come back and see if you've got it right. It is time now to see how well you have done. Here is our answers. Hopefully you do fantastically well. I really do think that you'll do well on this because you've obviously done the video the other day or recently. If you haven't watched that video on how to find the arc length, you have to watch that. So make sure you go back and watch that really well, because today would have blown your way if you haven't done that. All right, everyone, well done. It is time to write a revision card or get in contact with me if you want a copy of these. I'm still working on them as I say this, so it may be some time, but hopefully very shortly these will be available to you. And as always, it's been a real pleasure helping you with your maths today. Hopefully you feel more and more intelligent every time you listen to one of these podcasts. Until next time.